video because sometimes TikTok blocks the video. So I just want to make sure you're here. The people who asked me to explain how to deal with Surds, are you here? I love you too. I'm sorry I'm not wearing a swimsuit. Okay, so we talk about Surds because we are dealing with square roots. Square roots. That's why we are engaged with Surds. Hello, Dimela. For example, when we talk about a square root of 25, for example, the question we are asking is, what number multiplied by itself gives us 25? That's what brings us to this topic of square roots. So, what number multiplied by itself gives us 25? Anybody? I just want to see who's here. What number multiplied by itself is 25? 5, yes. So we say the square root of 25 is 5 because 5 multiplied by 5 is 25. Now, let's say for example, we were to say, I were to ask you, what number multiplied by itself gives you 5? Can you use the same mechanism that you found that the square root of 25 is 5 here? Can you use the same mechanism to give me the answer here? What would you say the answer is? There isn't one. Well, if we punch in the calculator, we get a very long number. So here we will have somebody who will say, we have a situation here and we call it, this brings us to the topic, surds. Sometimes you are asked to find the square root of a number and the answer is not as easy as it is here in the first case. Now, what we attempt to do in those cases is to break down the number into something that's familiar. For example, let's say the square root of 40. The way to deal with this is to break it down into pieces that are familiar. And what do I mean by that? Can you break this 40 into multiples of 40? One of which you can determine the square root. What are the two numbers which when multiplied will give you 40? Can you think of those numbers? Let's work through this together. 4 and 10. Somebody said 4 and 10. Okay, any more numbers? Any more numbers, please? 4 and 10. Any more? What two numbers? 8 and 5. Yes, 8 and 5. What other numbers? 2 and what? Oh, you have 2 and 20? Okay. What else? Somebody has 2 and 20? Okay, what else do you have? 10 and 4. 10 and 4 is already here. Yes, you just reversed the order, but we still have 10 and 4. Now, of these three pairs of numbers, where can you determine a square root? Can you get the square root of 8? Can you get the square root of 8? Can you find the square root of 8? Anybody? Can anybody find the square root of 8 or of 5? Can you find the square root here? No, we cannot find the square root of 8. We cannot find the square root of 5. So this is not a good pair. The same applies to that one. This is not a good pair. We cancel it out. We are left with 4 and 10. So another way to express this is we say it is 4 times 10. far? Are we okay so far up to here before we continue? Are we okay so far? Oh, move the camera to the right. I'm so sorry. Are we okay so far? Okay, I'm sorry the camera was outside of your vision, but we'll go over this again. To find the square root of 40, you're so welcome. To find the square root of 40, we said, we need to look for two numbers, which when multiplied give us 40. We said 8 times 5 is 40, 4 times 10 is 40, 2 times 20 is 40, 40 times 1 is 40. But in that pair, which of those numbers can help us go through this square root thing? Can we get the square root of 8 or 5? No. 2 and 20? No. So, 4 and 10, we can get the square root of either one of those. And this, we can further break it down into the square root of 10 multiplied by the square root of 4. What's the square root of 4? What's the square root of 4? Anybody? What's the square root of 4? It's 2. Yes. So our answer will be 2 root 10. 2 root 10. 2 root 10. And why has this simplified the question, and why have we answered the question? See, we started with a much smaller root than we end up with a much smaller root than we started with. And the way we choose the good pair is that one of the numbers we have in a pair, like 4, we can find its root very easily. And what do I mean easily? The same way we determined the square root of 25 without even thinking. 2 numbers multiplied by each other. 5 and 5, 25. Here, root of 4 is 2 times 2. And this is the furthest we could go. All right. I'll do another example, and then we will do a different scenario working through Surds. Okay. We'll do another example. And this here, like we said, this is not a case of Surds. Okay, let's say for example we had the square root of 50. Based on what we just did,